Welcome back, my fellow aggressive learners. In this section, we shall be learning about background. All right. Remember, we first discussed about background in this lecture CSS at the beginning of it, but this time around, we're going to take an in-depth look at the background itself and some of the basic, some of other components or properties we can find in the background. So, and we are going to be looking at background URL, background repeat, background size, background position, attachment, and of course, we look at linear gradients. All right. And then if we have time, there are so many other things that can be looked at, but otherwise, I think we are good. Now, let me go ahead and define some CSS. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate a couple of things. Let me do div, and then inside my div, I can decide to do anything, but this is not necessary, just to show us, give us a preview image without tag. All right, so yeah, image without tag, just to give us a preview of what's going on. All right, good. So I'm going to give this a class. Let me call it a class image one. So I'm going to copy it and repeat it twice. All right, because I've got two images. Very important. So if you check out this, I want to, there's no image tag inside here. So I want to call my image from the CSS. So how do I go about it? Very, very simple. Just go inside here. First of all, remember we have an image tag. All right, and we have two image tags. So let me target the div element before I will now start targeting this. So let me give our div element, each of our div element, let me give it a height. So I'm going to do div, I'm going to give it a height of, let's say, 900 pixels should be okay. Yes, you can see, right? If you give it a background, you should be able to see some nice stuff, right? Background. Just don't mind me, just trying to play around. Good. So, but I don't need a background here. I don't need a background here, just to show you what we're doing. All right, so let's go ahead and then work on the images, because each of the images is going to be inside the div. All right, so I'm going to do dot image one, and then I'm going to do background, and in that background, I'm going to do URL right there, background, yeah, this. I'm going to do URL. So, and I'm going to call the location of the image. So which one do I want to use? I want to use avocado. Yeah, avocado. I think we got it. Yes. So if you expand this, you could see your avocado, right? Good. So let's put the second image. Now in the second image, check out my images, right? Now this is the avocado I'm using. Check out the size. You see, look at the size. Image is what, 1500 by 1000 pixel. That's the resolution of it. Now I have a very small another image here. All right, this is 1980 by 1320, and this same image I have a smaller version of it, 100 by 64. All right, so and we're going to make use of this as our second image. So I just want to show you something. All right, so let me go ahead and do dot image. Now it's going to be 2. So I'm going to do background, I'm going to do URL, and this time around it's not going to be, it's going to be small. Sorry, it's going to be small. Remember what we did there? So it's going to be small. Now check out the way these images repeated themselves, right? Check out the way images were repeating themselves. Let me increase the size so you understand what I'm saying. You can see the way these images are repeating themselves. You can see the way these images repeated themselves. So that's to tell you. So remember, now watch out. Even when I decreased the size, I zoomed zoom in the size of the browser, the first image increased itself by what? By 2, by 2. All right, so we can actually solve this. How do we prevent this from happening? Thank you very much. That is where we come down to what we call background repeat. All right. So by default, your image is by default background repeat. By default, it is always on what? On repeat. By default, it is what? It is on repeat. Remember we did inheritance, so let's just try and be written our inheritance. Okay, no need, let me not confuse you. So if I don't want this repeat, what do? I do no repeat. I do no repeat. That is for the first image. Check out. The first image has taken this position. Now, the same thing if I go on the second one, I copy this, I go on this, I can say I don't want a repeat. Check it out, right? Check it out. Now remember the size of my image. I zoomed in, so I can actually go back and what and zoom back to 100%, right? So that means if you want to know the exact thing that is happening, you can zoom your stuff. So you can see our image as simple as it is. You can see even the big image, there is still a very big space here, which we are going to fix with what? With the property called background size. All right. So, but for now, this is what it is. Now let's try other properties with background. Now you can see background repeat. What are other things that can happen with background repeat? I can say background background repeat. I want it to repeat or what? Repeat to x, to the x size, right? Let me do it on the smaller one. Watch. I'm going to remove this no repeats. That means watch. My repeat is traveling only on one line because I say repeat on x axis. So I can say no, repeat on y axis, right? Repeat on y axis. Check it out, you can see all that. Now I can say there are so many properties, I think so, right? So all you need to just do, so you can see repeat x, repeat y, repeat round. That's what happened on default, right? You can see all that, right? Good. So, and then I think there's also another one. Yeah. I think that's all I would want you to know when it comes to repeats, right? So, but however, we're doing no repeat, right? So we don't want this to repeat itself, right? Good. Okay, yeah, I think there is one more. Let me just show you. There's also space, right? So watch the behavior for this. You can see the little space that is right in between these guys and all that. Yep. So in that space, let's look at background size. All right. Let's look at what background size does. So let's maintain it to no repeat. So let's look at what background size does. So background size. All right. So background size. So we have in background size we have two contents. We have contain, we have cover. All right. So now do cover. Let me give our width a border so that let me give this our div a border. Let me give a border color so that our job will be making sense. Border 2 pixel, solid, and then red. Yeah, yeah. I think I love this. I think this is more okay. Now, I have done background size cover. Check out your image. Check out. I know in this situation, your image become more blurry. And if you were to be increasing the size of your image, you will naturally hate to come to this website. You will naturally hate to come to this. And if you're decreasing it too, your image will start losing. You start losing your image gradually, all right? So, and that is how it works. So, of course, one of my advice is each time you want to work with background images right inside your CSS, please ensure you have a very good and quality image, all right? A very high definition image. I think that's one of the beautiful way. Now, let's try contain and see. What you're saying in contain is, hey, I want you to stay the exact size, the aspect ratio this is the original size of this image, right? The aspect ratio should not be lost, right? That is exactly what you're saying with what? With this. So you're saying the aspect ratio should not be what? Should not be lost. That is what you are saying. So now let's look at background position, right? Background position, that's it here. So background position, you can do center. Watch, remember this is your div. Remember this is your div. So I'm going to remember this is your div. Right. So background position is at center already. So you can see your image. So you can take your background position to left. Look at it here. You can take your background position towards to right. And here we go. All right, now you can take it to the top, right? All right, so if this image was to be extremely small, it will go to the top this side. Now there is another way to control this image. I can do on let's say 20%, 20%, 50%. All right, let me use the do this on the first image so that you see some things. Now, this can actually define the part of your image that is going to show up. This can actually define the part. Let's maintain a good size. I think 100. I think 100 is okay. So let's go ahead and see. This can define. Look at the point at which your image stop. Look at the point. Now let's go ahead and do this and do that. Increase this to like let's say 75 or 70. So okay, so let's also increase this to let's say 10. So now this will naturally, you can see it's already playing with the size of our image. It will actually define the position of the image that would be displayed. Let me do 90. So it would change or the you can see right. So it plays around like where what position to play with your image, all right? So that is basically what background position would do for you. Now the next thing is background attachment. Background attachment. Let me offload this small image and then we get to play around with a couple of images, right? Let me get to do this. Like, let me use this. Let me use another image. Let me use another image. Let me use I think I have image one. So let me use it. So we have two images now. Yeah. So we have two images now. So I'm going to do this. I'm gonna do 100, 100, 100, 100. Right, you can see the position of the girl's leg has changed all the way from here to this place. All right, so that is what these things will do for you. But otherwise, I want to do center. All right, I want to do center. and here we go, right? You can see that is what background position will do for you. Now, let me add the, where is avocado? So this is supposed to be two, yeah. So we're supposed to have two images, right? Let me align this text to the center and let me align this text to the center, right? So now let me make this thing to be cover. The very first one, background position, I want to make it to be what? To be cover, right? Good. So, sorry, background size should be cover. So I want it to fit, right? Good. So now, let me show what background attachment does. But before I do that, let me centralize our text. Text align, center. So all our text are coming to center. At this point, I want you to look at these images. See that none of them is fixed. Everything is moving according as we scroll. So let me do background attachment, right? So I'm going to attach this one to the screen. So I'm going to do background attachment, and let me use fixed. All right, fixed. Watch, you can see, right? You can see. So this is fixed to the screen. This is fixed to the screen, while this is scrollable, and the first one is what fixed to the screen. So you can see what it is in, you can see what it is. So that is what background attachment does for you. So on that note, I'll see you in the next class.